Hey, happy 4th of July. Just watched three movies back to back last night. Figured it's a franchise that I figured get out of the way. It's a classic one, so want to review it early and figured might as well 4th of July. Why not? So the first one is Candyman. Um, I've always loved this movie. Loved it ever since I was a little kid. Tony Todd in this is amazing. He gives one of my favorite performances in a horror movie as this, even though he's in it for like 15 minutes. But it's so that's the thing. It's so quick, but it's so memorable. He looks creepy. Sound one of the creepiest sounding people I've ever seen, and I, this is just awesome. It's a college student. She's doing a project or a thesis on urban legends and stuff, and she hears one about the Candyman in the hood of Chicago, and she starts getting obsessed with it, and he feeds off the fear, and that's about it. He's slashing and stuff, but anyway, he's actually framing her for all these crimes, and so she'll get more freaked out by him, and he'll like feed off that fear basically, so he could come alive again, and the ending gets kind of weird, but that's the only thing that makes it down. So to me, it's a 9 out of 10 because the ending with just how the fire, the bonfire, and all that. I don't dig it too much, so it's a 9. But the whole thing leading up to it, the musical score is amazing. I love this movie. You cannot go wrong with it. I've actually never met a single person who has ever disliked Candyman. Um, this is import from the UK. It's region free though, so it plays on region one players. It looks as you'd expect. It's average. Nothing that's gonna blow you away. It's just average, yeah. Better than the DVD. So I know this is like $12 on Amazon last time I checked. So I mean, even if the DVD's $6 or $7, it's worth it to pay the extra few bucks to get the Blu-ray. So yeah, it's cool. And Candyman: Farewell to the Flesh. Uh, this is an alright sequel. It's definitely not as good as the first one, obviously, but it it's literally almost the same story, just lacking the atmosphere of the original because it takes place in New Orleans. It doesn't have the same score. It does have a big scene with the past of Candyman, but it's stuff you already learned from the first one, so you're not really seeing anything new. You're just seeing a more visual version of what you just heard in the first one, which is kind of cool. But I mean, to me, this franchise was doomed like right after the first, basically after the first one. You can't top the first one. I don't think it could have happened. So this is an alright sequel. Definitely pick it up if you do dig the first one, because you'll probably dig this one because it's essentially the same story. But which leads me to my next one. That after that, basically same story, and then it goes on to this Candyman: Day of the Dead. Now this is a straight to video sequel. The last one the lead actress was on Baywatch, and her acting was terrible. And I'm not even saying that, just because that's, the general consensus on this. Her acting is actually really terrible. It's laughable. And the movie's just boring. It's the same exact story pretty much of the first two, so by then you're worn out of that story. And then to top it all off, you'll see the bees on the main actress's chest and all that, because the Candyman comes in and the bees. You can see they're all fake bees glued on her and stuff, and it's terrible. There's nothing really redeeming about it. Even Tony Todd's performance seems, like he's bored and just whatever about it, even though he actually co-produced it, which I don't know what that means, what his role was or whatever. He probably could have demanded a credit on that or something to be in this, because there's no way he could have looked at this script or anything and thought it was really good. But uh, I mean, it's another Candyman movie, but it's just terrible. So I'd skip this one. But if most collectors and people I know, they're completionists, so it's like you can't have just Candyman 1 and 2 on the shelf. You might as well just complete it. But there are some people that can do that and kind of envy it. But yeah, I just can't do that. So it's cool to see it on the shelf. But I'll probably watch it another 15 years maybe, and by then It'll probably be on 4K times 8 Blu-ray, so it is what it is. But yeah, that was my quick review on the Candyman franchise. Even though it has a really terrible, like, worst movie in horror, category, it's it's still a good franchise. I mean, the first one is just a masterpiece minus one, and then the second one is pretty entertaining. But yeah, that's all I can really say about it. So it's still a must-have franchise for any really horror fans collection. Candyman's second tier with like Chucky and Pumpkinhead and all that, but he ain't on the status as like Jason and Freddy. But yeah, definitely if you don't got it, pick them all up. All right, guys, peace.